Welcome to the Utopia Party, the channel to inform the uninformed and where we want all the smoke. So, I'm your host, Gray Zach Tate. This production is brought to you by UBM Studios and 2106 Multimedia. So, what are y'all fake caring about today? It is my observation on social media who is basically the new overlord of the minds of the masses. Social media has come into our life and allowed and dictate so many of y'all to drive while you're watching social media, to walk while you're watching social media, to be at work looking at me like, why am I bothering you when you're here to do a job? Because you're on social media. So what the Utopia Party is going to do is going to tell you how to see what you are seeing and what to do with it. My first topic of discussion is the division of the sexes. I am noticing as a black man in America quite often, every time I'm on my media thread, I'm seeing these questions of what's different than a woman is doing, what is the difference that men are doing, and what is the situation, and who can go to the Cheesecake Factory and who won't go to the Cheesecake Factory, and what is the right amount of money to send for lunch and what is not. Wake up. Let us get back to understanding that there are forces that be that will continue to try to divide us. That we have a destiny, we have a will, we have an intestinal fortitude that we are guided by. Some of us have a spiritual connection that we are guided by. And these devices is feeding you information that's making you divide. So every time that you see these different questions and what your man would do for clicks, for views, and for people to get fame and more views, which is more money nowadays, what we need to evaluate is, how is this impacting my mind? Because I'm quite sure that this social media construct is working on you and impacting your relationship. First it was love and hip hop, now it's social media and TikTok. So what I would like my viewers to take a great look at is, how is this impacting me? Is it really us against them? Because it is not. What we need to evaluate more often is, what is my cultural genetics? How was I made to be? Because as an African-American man, black man in America, one thing I can assure you is this. My genetic code is not to follow a European cultural norm. My genetic code is to have a tribe, to be a part of a tribe, and to work as a tribe, to do whatever we have to do to make sure no child, no body, no woman is left behind. But with this new phenomenon of us against you, when the greatest creation in this world is a woman, with men attacking them, with people getting famous from attacking them, I would like you to ask yourself, when you are viewing this and when you are all up in the comments, to ask yourself, what impact is this having on my relationship? Because what I'm finding for so many men is I'm hearing this rhetoric of, I just give up. I'm not even trying anymore. And that means you are disbanding, you are disallowing, you are disrespecting the tribe. So let's get back to our cultural norms of what the tribe should be. How do we come together as a tribe, acting in the spirit of love? That's my take on sex, gender wars, and relationships on social media. Now for one of my favorite topics, Donald Trump. The orange guy has struck again, and I love it. Let me tell you why. For most of my life, I was a conservative Republican, and for those of you who are getting your panties in a bunch about it, let me tell you why I was a conservative Republican. Black men in America historically had to depend on ourselves. When we had to deal with integration, we lost our power, we lost our community, we lost our ability to make our financial resources take care of the tribe. We lost vision. We wanted to be so much like them, we forgot what it was to be like us. So with Donald Trump, it is my personal belief, controversial I'm sure, that America was so afraid of electing a black president because they would be afraid that he turned into the ninja that Donald Trump is. Everything that Donald Trump does is disruptive. Everything that he says is disruptive. And it's obvious that it is a large voting pool in America who loves to be disruptive because normal is boring. So what do? We look for a disruptive leader to get out of all our frustrations because we ain't making it in life and didn't account to nothing and didn't live the American dream. So what will I do? I will live vicariously through a billionaire who is out of control. So now that Donald Trump is acting like a full-blown ninja, what are we doing about it? We have this more division of, oh, I hate a person that has a Trump sign. Why would you possibly hate someone that serves your agenda, your policies, and your issues? What I find, quite frankly, is many people don't know what their agenda is, what their issues is, and who's representing them. They vote blindly. They vote according to the media. It's like a jury pool. They just vote with whoever sways their emotions and listen to none of the evidence. America, let's look at the evidence. Black America, let's look at the history. Let's sit down for a minute and ask ourselves, the left wing and the right wing, are they all part of the same bird that just keeps pooping on my head? Ask yourself, what has any presidential candidate done for you and your community and your situations? And I'm not talking about stimulus checks that got lines around Gucci and Louis Vuitton. What I'm talking about is you personally. What has your political advocate, your political representation, and your nominee done for you? So while you fake caring about politics, ask yourself, how involved am I in this situation? So on social media, in the media, and all these influences and impulses that you're feeling because CNN said this is your candidate or Fox said this is your candidate, maybe none of them is your candidate. Maybe you're tired of getting pooped on, and what you're going to do this political year is say to yourself, my vote will go to who I can hold accountable, or my vote is going to go to the other guy who's talking real radical. That's my take from the Utopia Party on Trump and politics. Now let's get down to religion. Assalamu alaikum, Ramadan Kareem to all the Muslim brothers who are fasting. I took it upon myself to fast this year and read the juice as well because I understand that there is one God, one aim, one destiny, and man came along and decided he was going to profit off of what is religious in the name of Jesus. So what I would like us to do as a tribe to stop our divisions is take the time to read. If you read the Quran, you realize it's the same exact stories that's in the Torah. The Torah is the first 5 books that's in the Old Testament. The Old Testament is the prelude to the New Testament, which has brought down the prophet Jesus Christ. What are we doing? We are sitting down, fighting division, being depressed, being frustrated because of what you are supposed to be dedicated and having your faith. So how is your faith being swayed by a media outlet? How are you in an outrage or praying for Israel because they are bombing in the name of religion and not in faith? We are not talking about the mighty God. We are not talking about the importance of God. We are not talking about thanking God for being God, because if God was really a vengeful God, he would disintegrate us based on the sins that we commit on a daily basis. So in your division, in your social media, in your media influence, and whatever motivates you to determine this is my religion and my faith, perhaps you could do what Jesus would do and be more faithful. Perhaps we could take a look and ask ourselves, how is me serving God serving me well? And then decide that what is important is not the religious book, but the acts of faith that you do so that you can take and embrace the favors of your Lord. So from the Utopia Party, that's my views on religion. Now, how do we get our money right? Well, what I'm finding is that we are not moving as a tribe. Today's theme, I guess, will be tribal. We are not moving as a tribe. There's so many of you who are fighting against each other and not deciding that, listen, how is it, this is for black women in America. Let me give you a quick history lesson. There was a time in black America that the government paid you, black woman, to ostracize your husband and told you that if you stayed at home and collected a check for each child that you had and promised to not bring a man at home, that you could be independent, have your own money, and take care of your children on your own. It was called the welfare system. Based on this welfare system, there was an urgent sense of dependency that went from a whole entire generation that sent the message that black men weren't necessary. So as time progressed due to war, drug abuse, homosexuality, and of course, the prison industrial complex, we have lost black men by the million. We are constantly a walking mental health crisis. But we are not looking for any sympathy. We are just asking, how is it that 3 or 4 black women could all be friends, all be homeowners, and all be single? What is wrong with that? Let me tell you, we need to start moving more like a tribe where all 4 of y'all live in one house and rent out the other 3 houses and become landlords and have more community building. You women who are actively side chicks, you know that he's married, you know that you're the side chick, you know that you're in love with this man. Talk to this man about talking to his wife so we can have some community building. You women who know that this is my baby daddy and he's my baby daddy, and all 5, 6, 12, or if you Nick Cannon, 11 of y'all, join together. Get your affection, get your love, get what you need and that leadership from that man. But let's start pulling our resources together. You often criticize other races because, well, it's 8 of them in one house. Yeah, but they own the house. They have no mortgage because of group economics. So it's just my suggestion and my observation as an old man in America that if we start looking at things differently, we'll start doing some things differently. So from the Utopia Party, I bring to you some radical suggestions so that we can stop doing the norm and stop being dependent on social media. Now, for world news, big up to the Massive Yard where the world Don may be released. What I heard was, it is true that Vybz Kartel's trial, his case, his murder conviction was overturned. Any day now he may be returning back into the streets of Jamaica. And as a Jamaican, I would just have to say, big up yourself. You never see justice in the justice system. And I would like everyone who's talking and commenting on Vybz Kartel to ask yourself, how do we motivate him to take a more Bob Marley position of leadership, movement, and doing what is necessary as an artist? Because in the criminal justice system, as we see, if you are famous, if you are black, if you are wealthy, we must destroy you. We love building you up to eventually destroy you. So I hope that we learn the lessons that ain't too much justice in the justice system is often just us. So to see a murder conviction overturned based on someone trying to pay jurors to find him guilty, thank God for that. Because this criminal justice system, if anybody is a juror on Young Thug trial, watching Young Thug trial, or paying attention to this Young Thug trial, you can see that the prosecutor herself is being prosecuted because there's not much justice in the justice system. There's just us. So I am Great Zach Tate, brought to you from the Utopia Party, a broadcast brought to you straight from UBM Studios in 2106. God bless you all. Walk with faith and break out of the middle. Peace to the God.